Hi, everybody. I am Gilbert with the Unnamed Game Company, and we are running our first actual play for our upcoming game, This Night and Then. We have a wonderful group of people that have joined us, or I tricked them into it, whichever comes first. I'll have them introduce themselves in a second. This Night and Then is our new game, our first game coming out on October 30th. We are releasing it on itch. Please follow us at Unnamed Game Co. if you are interested in this game and you want more information. Originally, this game is about a group of people that are facing sort of a change, an inevitable change amongst themselves. And we play in the present, we play heading into this inevitable change, and we're flashing back to the past to sort of learn about their backstory and to learn about their history and their shared moments together. And eventually, though, the game will end, and the game has an end. And I'll let our wonderful cast discuss this themselves. And I will, this is strictly an AP that's going to be done without any of the creators. So we're just going to sort of leave our cast to figure it out. They just got the game on Sunday. So good luck, everybody.
I guess I'll start. I'm Ken Lowe, and I have a background in gaming for almost 20 years now, I think. Played several different systems. I'm coming to you from sunny Springfield, Illinois, where it's raining cats and dogs right now. And I'll be filling the role of facilitator tonight. This is a game masterless system, but the facilitator is supposed to sort of know the rules and help keep track of anything. And as I just learned the game Sunday, I'll do the best I can. Why don't we go on to Morgan next?
I'm Morgan. I also go by Cagney, but I've also usually like a DM when it comes to games like this. So it's actually really nice to be a player. So I'm actually really excited to be playing this one. I've read through a lot of this, and I'm actually very in love with the game concept. So
let's hear from Jordan next.
Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm a kind of an indie game developer myself. I am really loving this game. It's really interesting. It's kind of a very fast and quick narrative heavy thing, and I'm really excited to kind of get my hands on it and try to make this thing work with you guys.
Let's hear from Paolo.
There we go. Hi, I'm Paolo, or you could call me PJC either. I'm also a small game designer based in Manila in the Philippines. And I've played similar narrative-oriented games before, but often there's still that RNGesus element involved with the dice chucking. So now that this is entirely token based, I'm curious to see how this plays out.
Lastly, let's hear from Finn.
Hi, I'm Finn. I have a fair bit of experience with D&D and some experience with indie games. I'll start my video. There I am. What else is there to say about me? I've done a bit of game design, and I'm looking forward to this. You guys can probably tell that I'm from Australia. Sorry, I've got an echo, haven't I? And yeah.
All right. Well, at this point, I think, well, a couple things. We want to try to decide an order. I'm going to do by whose faces are left to right on my screen right now. So it'll go Morgan, Jordan, Paolo, and Finn. I guess I have a turn in there somewhere. So I suppose I'll go first, and then the order I told you folks. The next part that we do here, and we've sort of done some preliminary discussion before beginning recording, This Night and Then encourages you to agree on things that you might not always agree on in another game or discuss before. You talk about kind of the tone of the story you want to set, and because the theme is about coming to an end of a time, you actually discuss what the ending is going to be. Gilbert and the Unnamed Game Company provide some interesting scenarios with the version of the game that we got, and but I talked with everybody, and we decided to give a humble try of my idea. We decided we were going to have this be kind of a medium tone, which means that it could go a little serious, or it could be funny and lighthearted, or sort of, somewhere in the middle. And we are going to tell you the story tonight of an ending of a group of friends who went on an epic quest together. This company of the MacGuffin quested together to find a powerful and corrupting magical MacGuffin of the Dark Lord and throw it into a volcano. And now this is going to be probably the last day that they see each other together, because their leader of their group, King Vigo of Middle Zealand, is getting married. And this is like the grand celebration at the end of the epic saga. So that's what we all agreed to do. And I thank everybody for indulging me, because I literally just came up with that this morning. But the next step, I think, is that we come up with character info and everything. So we're going to populate this game with characters right now. I'm going to start with you folks beforehand here. So I'm going to say, let's see, Morgan, I'm going to make you player 2. Okay. And if you're in the sheet here, we're going to sort of talk about character info. So the first thing that we want to do is, I guess, if you have a name or anything, or a general concept or something that strikes you, is anyone popping into your head right now? I can go first if that makes anything easier for anybody, but what do you think, Morgan?
I don't quite have a name right now, but
Sure.
I do know that I was looking through the list of like the flaws and the patches and stuff like that, and
Okay.
I was like kind of interested in like a combination of them, just because.
Go on ahead and start there, and I'll try my best to like explain like the process for everybody as we go. But yeah, so part of character creation is coming up with a character flaw and an opposition to that flaw, which in the system is referred to as a patch. So tell us about what strikes you, Morgan.
One thing that I'm always that I actually end up doing this with like all my characters is I always end up making a character that is kind of a goof. They just always try to make everyone laugh, even if it's kind of inappropriate, because whoops, I do that. But another thing, I liked Clown and Radiant just because I thought it sounded really like, okay, so they're a goof, but then combine Radiant with it because of this ability that they can shine, and then they can like no obstacles can hit them. Like they can't really have any obstacles introduced against them. It gives the idea of, okay, they're a jokester, but they're also an idiot.
I gotcha. All right. I'll go on ahead. I'll go on ahead and plug that in for you. Tell us some more. The next thing, the other 3 main things that are here are, how does the world see you? How does your group see you? And what are you to yourself? It's sort of like, what are you to people in various different situations? Have you given, do you have any ideas for how to fill out those pieces of information?
Not quite yet, just because I'm still trying to piece together. I have so many different character concepts, but I never, it's hard to place them on a different sheet when I'm not unfamiliar with it, but
I gotcha. Do you have any goal or hope that is jumping out as something that you want to see happen for the end for this character at all? Because that's sort of one of the last things that I think we are supposed to specify here. And if not, it's okay. We can move on to other folks and everything, and just kind of fill in the sheet as we go, bounce ideas off of each other.
Chaos Brain is saying make a sandwich that destroys God, but I don't think that's possible.
There's nothing to say it's not. but we can come back to you if it's okay.
All right.
I'll move on to Jordan. Jordan, I'll slot you into player 3, on the sheet and everything. Do you have a concept for a character that jumps out at you for this scenario?
I do.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of that person that likes to pull from what's currently going on in his nerd life.
Sure.
This is kind of a weird cross between Bones from Star Trek, and if you've ever watched Farscape, the main character of Farscape kind of has this whole idea like, oh, I'm in this whole other part of the universe and I'm going to fake being Han Solo right up until it all falls apart. And he just completely just decides, screw it and run. So he's trying to be this very well put together, smart, intelligent doctor who helps patch folks together. But, maybe he doesn't handle stress all that well.
Is the nature of this patching together, is it physical? Is it a magical patching together? Is it a scientific patching together? In what way is he patching folks together?
I think that's kind of all 3 columns, like the science of putting people back together with magic. So like, great, like you can fix bones with magic. You need to still understand how that works from the top down.
Okay. All right. And I'm totally agnostic on whatever is going on in this world and everything. Is he of the species of human? Is he from another land that's far away from this one? And if so, like, what's it like?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna avoid my usual, which is half elf. And I'm gonna say he's just a human.
Mhm.
He's still kind of young in terms of years, but on top of that, he's kind of got a lot of experience of seeing people in all kinds of horrible ways, because that's what happens when you're a doctor. I guess kind of part medical student. It's medical student. Let's go with medical student. I feel like is a better opportunity for something like this, I feel.
Okay, so the world, how does he want the world to see him? Thinking of it in those terms.
If the world needs to see him as smart and in charge, he needs people to know that he's a doctor. He's going to walk in a room. He's going to have the situation handled.
All right. Now, of course, you've been adventuring with this group of folks now through a whole 3-book series that's mostly about walking and feasting. Unless you guys decide other things, right? How does the group see him? After having adventured with him.
I mean, like that's kind of a question I can't really answer by myself. But I would imagine it's just kind of to throw it out there. It seems like after 3 books, at the very least, the basic viewpoint of other characters to him would be he's reliable. I can trust him to fix something that's wrong with me if I'm honest. But there might be reasons why I'm not honest with him.
All right, and then lastly, the question that you're supposed to ask as far as perceptions: how does he see himself? Like, what is he to himself? That apart from how the world and the group sees him.
Stressed, like he's building the track as he goes.
Building the track as I go. All right. And had any of those flaws and patches jumped out at you?
Kind of going over them right now. Temperamental to tranquil kind of sticks out to me.
Okay.
Because it jumps from like, oh, I have the situation perfectly handled, and like, something tiny goes wrong, or and then suddenly I demand to have the situation under control, even though I have no agency in that situation whatsoever.
All right. And lastly, we ask for a goal or a hope that he wants to come to pass as far as the story goes.
This one's kind of fun, but it's he wants to be able to kind of live it up for this last moment, because after this he's going back to school, and he's gonna kind of keep going because he's still a student, so he has to finish up all of his work. And he's probably never going to see any of these people again, and he wants to at least say goodbye.
Is this an isekai anime, and is he the normie who has been sucked into? just as a suggestion. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to go that route.
No,
So-
I will not be getting hit by any trucks
Okay.
or stabbed.
It's always trucks too. It's always trucks too.
No, I'm literally just going away to school.
Why did I do that? I put somebody's name in incorrectly here. Okay. All right. I think we can move on to Paolo next and talk about you have got you slotted in as player 4. Paolo, any broad impressions of the character that you have to start with?
Wait, I just wanted to clarify though, like, because the premise sort of sounds like we're working with a Tolkien-esque type world. Is that what everyone has agreed on? Or are we going to are we going to work with that framework that this is?
Whatever you guys say about your characters, I'm gonna say influences.
It came off to me as like Final Fantasy, which is the one that's the road trip.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
15.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It comes off like 15, which
Okay.
essentially could just be Lord of the Rings with a car.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, but no, like I say, no. Whatever strikes you,
Sure.
we'll add it in. What are you thinking?
Okay. It's just that if Jordan's okay with this, I was thinking that that since your character's meant to be the med student, but you're also posturing as Han Solo, then I'll be the Chewbacca. That whatever else happened with the rest of the group, I've known your character first, and I've ended up as like your like clinical assistant or whatever. I mean, or whatever the equivalent is for a magical med student. And the idea here, because what I was going off was based on keying off the premise, was what it reminded me of was how Chewbacca was left out of the ceremony at the end of Return of the Jedi. So I want to give Chewbacca his place in that ceremony at the end of Return of the Jedi. So, but in terms of appearance, giant humanoid horse, tikbalang, basically like Filipino mythology.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. Next, we have you thought about how you want the world to see you?
I think the world kind of assumes that I'm a brute, just because of assumptions about tikbalangs in terms of that we're at best beasts of burden, like very competent beasts of burden, but otherwise assumption is that we're barbaric. But and of course I'm pushing back against those perceptions because I'm here on a medical track. I'm probably the only one sending funds back to my family, and I'm the first professional of my family.
Now, I note at the rules, and this is my fault for not remembering this, but the group one, we're all supposed to put one in for each other, and then you
Okay.
pick the one you like the most. So we're going to put a pin in the ones we've discussed already, and we'll all go around the table once everybody has had a go and do that. So we'll put a pin in that one for now for Paolo. And
Okay.
it sounds like you kind of did talk a little bit about like how you see yourself instead versus that, where like you see yourself as like a dutiful person who like goes against like the cultural expectations. I mean, is that a good starting point to put that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dutiful breadwinner to my family and de facto ambassador to my species.
All right.
To
Okay.
tikbalang kind.
Did a flaw or a patch jump out at you? And if not, we can come back to it,
No. Because until Morgan had made their choices, I had assumed that you'd have to pick the ones that were right above each other. I didn't realize you could mix and match across the patches. I thought like if you went with Clown, then Solemn would have to be the patch. So now that this has opened up the idea, the choices.
Yeah, well, if you want to think that over as we're sort of going,
Yeah.
and then I mean, obviously, as we're all describing our characters, obviously, think up what you would like to be everyone else's group one, and yeah, it's okay to mix and match the flaws and patches. Gilbert says so. Okay, so we got Paulo then. Finn, we'll move on to you for now. Do you have a sort of a broad character concept that you want to tell us about? Anything jumping out at you?
I have a broad character concept. I think my character is he's quite a homebody. I'm thinking of calling him Nixie Knoll, and I'm thinking he's the house spirit of a pig farmer on the other side of the planet. And, he just really desperately wants to go back to his family, maybe start a family of house spirits of his own. And that's his ultimate goal in life, really. He just loves the food, the tranquil scenery, all that sort of thing.
What kind of things does what is sort of the divine portfolio of a house spirit? What are their duties? What do they accomplish in the world?
Very little. They cook, they clean, they tend to the pigs, and they just enjoy life.
Awesome. How does the world see Nixie Knoll?
Honestly, they probably don't most of the time. I think he's just sort of he stays out of the way. He tries to be helpful. He wants the world to see him as a net positive, but what he really likes is to just be left alone. And he's being pulled into this grand adventure, and he's not sure what to think of it.
And how does he see himself?
I think that's a tough one. I think he's a bit conflicted. Like he kind of wants to be this hero who helps the company of the MacGuffin save the world and make sure that nothing befalls his beautiful pig farm back home. But he doesn't see that as who he is. He doesn't enjoy that.
He's reluctant to be heroic, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did any of those flaws or patches jump out?
That's a bit overwhelming. I think let's take a look.
The reserved one sounds maybe like it might be a possible
Yeah.
as a flaw, and then I don't know which patch sounds best to you, but like going with radiant seems like it's opposed to that, naturally.
Yeah, radiant or selfless. What exactly? I do like the radiant. It's like, it's sort of what happens once he's gotten his heroic moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could go with that.
Okay. And then I guess I think maybe like for goals and hopes, I mean, unless there's one that jumps out at you, I forgot to ask Paulo about that too.
Yeah.
But we can come back to you in a second when we kind of come back to everybody's group identity. But was there a goal or a hope for, the ending that that this pig farmer has?
I think he really just wants to retire. You know, go back and see his neighbors, and probably get a nice raise some cute kids. Teach them a bit of mischief.
Awesome. I guess it's got to be me now too. I've been the forever GM for so long that it's difficult for me to come up with stuff myself. But let's see. So we've got let me go back to Morgan for a second. Morgan, have you got more of a handle on how you want to go?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I admit it's a very Ellis kind of feel.
No wrong choices. No wrong choices. What do you got for us?
For hold on, sorry, I left my mouse downstairs. Sorry.
It happens.
For character info, I have a name, and it's Eric, but it's Aerik.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure he's he'll just hear a name and he's like, oh yeah, that's my name.
Okay. All right. Nice.
So he's a kind of Furbolg-esque survivalist kind of character.
Okay. All right. And how does the world see him?
An idiot.
Oh no. Oh, it happens. So he's just sort of like doping through life as a Fearbolg survivalist, smelling mushrooms and tromping through the woods and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much one of those. Hi, have you guys tried eating this? You should. It's real good.
How does he see himself?
As very helpful and someone that brings up his friends.
All right. And so you're still sound good with the clown radiant kind of opposition there and everything. So is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I guess, does he have a goal or a hope?
He wants to find some way to connect with this party enough that they'll remember him, that they'll that he knows that he made a mark in their lives and he's not going to be forgotten.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, whoops. I accidentally put Finn's thing there. Okay. Paolo, I'm sorry. What was your flaw and patch that you had decided? I accidentally wrote over it.
Yeah, I hadn't filled it in, but I think
Oh, you had.
what makes sense is I'm just gonna go with dependent and independent. Dependent is the idea is that I've kind of internalized like a self-consciousness about trying to show that I'm not these stereotypes, to the point where that just interferes with me asserting my sense of self. And so yeah, the whole model minority thing basically, and is wanting to defy that and assert my sense of self. So
Okay.
I'm going with dependent, independent.
Okay. And had you thought of a goal or hope for the end there? I forgot to ask you that the first time we went around.
I think that basically I was already leading this way before we all went on the adventure as a group, but now after the adventure as a group, I want to sort of start my own roving medical practice, but that also conflicts with the expectation for me to head back to my hometown afterwards. And so that also still ties with the independence, but with regards to the expectations of me as, a representative of my clan.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm also a player here, which is easy for me to forget. So I guess I got to come up with something too. Okay. Well, I'm not sure of a name, but I think that I'm going to be the wise, wizened old character who got the group, including our happy groom, together at the start. And I'm going to say that the world sees me as a very wise and good influence. I see myself as overwhelmed and absolutely unsure that I'm doing the right thing. No particular reason that I picked that tonight, as I'm running a game I've never run before, you know. I haven't even looked at the flaws and patches and everything, but let me see. I definitely think that aloof could possibly describe him, and I'll go with aloof and vulnerable as my flaw and my patch there. And I think my hope is going to be that whatever good that we've done as a group is not undone in times to come. You know, like we're not going to see like a cycle of, you know, another Death Star popping up again in another 20 years. You know, that's what I think the goal is going to be. And
It would be
I'm
something like that. That seems weird to just build another one.
and and my character's name is going to be what should my character's name be, guys? I'm going to be Owen the Beige. That's what his name is going to be. To anyone who hasn't come up with an actual name, throw a name out to me. Let's see. I think Jordan, we need a name for your guy.
That was actually the first thing I came up with. Is
Okay.
his name is Manchester Reed, but folks just call him Manny.
Okay, Manny is right here. Okay, Paolo, did you have a name?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the species name is my name. Just to add to the tikbalang. But then because everyone finds it a mouthful, they just call me Tick, and I've stopped correcting them and just accepted that as my nickname. So it's Tick.
Is that Tick? How do I spell that?
Just Tik.
Tik. All right, you're gonna be a Tick.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to drop the spelling of that type of creature in the chat for me. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I want to see that.
All right, we got Owen the Beige, that's me. We got Eric, a Fearbulk survivalist. We got Manny, who is a Han Solo doctor. We've got Tick, who it's not his full name. And we've got Nixie Knoll, a bit of a homebody, a pig farmer from down the way. All right. I think I got everybody. Let's start tossing out stuff for what you guys feel about the group. I'll go through and have everybody do everybody else. So Morgan, start with me and then go down through the other players. What do you think? What's your suggestion for me as a group member?
How
the group sees me.
I was trying to think, and if I'm going through Eric's point of view, then yeah, he's real smart.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Jordan, what's Jordan think of? What does Manny think of Owen the Beige?
He's like a fixture of a world that's kind of slowly passing by. But he's the last good part of an old world that's being replaced.
Oh, that's nice of you, man.
Yeah. I mean, because this is post-adventure. So maybe at the beginning he's like, oh, Owen the Beige is full of crap. And then like we get to the end and he's like, maybe if we had more Owens, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, exactly. If everyone valued good Owens more than good Mannies, we'd have, a better world or something.
Yeah.
All right. Arctic Balang, what's he think of Owen the Beige?
I think of Owen as hmm. Wait, can we come back to me last? Let me just
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
trying to figure out how to articulate it.
That's okay. Finn, how does the homebody Nixie Knoll think of Owen the Beige, this bullshitter extraordinaire, probably?
I think, you know, in my youth, I probably thought of you as an absolute legend. It never would have occurred to me that half the things that you ever said were actually true, but they sure sounded good. You're like this type who would come passing through. And now, once the adventure's over, I realize that it's all real and not as much fun as you made it sound.
Perfect.
It's a bit terrifying.
I love it. What's Tick thinking?
Okay, that you were only a leader by tradition, but now I'm realizing that but after the adventure I'm realizing that sort of fake it till you make it is actually a good thing, that and that, you know, yeah, I'm sort of like, I've gotten the lesson that bullshitting your way into there might be something admirable for the benefit of the rest of the world.
Nice. All right, I'm looking through here. You guys have given me lots of really good stuff to work with. I actually think I am going to go with that last one, though, that the group sees me as like the pinnacle of fake it till you make it. So some of the gloss has come off of Owen the Beige over the course of adventuring.
I was
All
gonna
right.
say, this is just silly, but I was literally sitting on this the whole time. Good Omen, more like Good Owen.
Oh, there you go. Oh man, I read that not long ago. Okay, so and we'll go through, as I'll start on Eric Morgan's character. I'm gonna say, let's see. I'm gonna say that Owen sees Eric as like the linchpin of the group, even though that he doesn't see that, and even though maybe some other group members don't see that. So let's see, and I'm keeping track of all this in case you guys need me to read it back to you later, but linchpin of the group. All right, Jordan, what does Manny think about Eric, the bumbling fearbulk?
Kind of towards the beginning, it was a lot of like, it's a damn miracle this fool hasn't eaten something that's killed them, or a rock. but then by the end, it's a lot of and I'm totally going to take this here. It's kind of that same way Boromir ends up seeing hobbits. It's like, they're the only ones out here doing something that matters while the rest of us are fighting over garbage.
There you go.
Like, Eric's actually making sure that some of this knowledge is getting handed off to someone. So if somebody wanders in or something, they're okay, as opposed to just, this is my tree, get away.
Awesome. Paolo, what's Tick think of Eric, the fearbulk survivalist?
I kind of envy his natural, like, devil may care attitude and his natural lightheartedness, and I sort of aspire to be as unconcerned, like in the moment, as he is.
All right, and Finn, and I guess I'm asking what your characters think, but I sort of supposed to be how the group views it, but we can negotiate on this stuff. But from Nixie Knoll's perspective in general, how would the group be seeing Eric, the fearbulk survivalist type?
To be honest, I think I was going to say something similar in the vein of envy. I envy how, I guess, what was the word I was going to say? Genuine he is. Like, he just is himself, his own bumbling self, warts and all, the whole time. And he's still saving the world. Like that's just who he is. Whereas, I don't know, from Nixie Knoll's perspective, he sort of has to pretend to be the hero, which I guess Owen as well, fake it till you make it almost. And I don't know, I think Nixie sees you as not having to do that, whether or not it's true.
All right. Having heard all of those, did any one of those jump out to you as the one that you want to pick for Eric, Morgan?
I'm
I can
kind of
read any
fond
them
of
back too.
like I'm kind of fond of what Finn said, just because it's it kind of holds everything together. It's got that the hero aspect, it's got the not afraid to be self, it's got a linchpin feel. It's all together, and I'm actually like very fond of that.
All right. So the group sort of has a bit of an envy of Eric as a genuine member of the group. All right. We're moving on to Jordan. So so Manny, the doctor and everything. I'm gonna say, I know Jordan, you'd picked a thing. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of put what you had said on the table there. I'm gonna say that from Owen the Beige's perspective, Manny has become a reliable and trustworthy member of the team. And I guess I'll go to Morgan next. How from Eric's perspective does the group see Manny the human doctor?
Honestly, sees him as incredibly like strong, because I'm pretty sure that Manny got them out of a lot of situations with the Han Solo-esque way with words. I'm pretty sure that he got them out of a lot of situations. So Eric is pretty much like, wow, he actually knows how to avoid getting into trouble. I respect that.
All right. Let's see. Who are we on to next? Okay, so we're doing Jordan's character. We'll move on to Paolo. How does Tick see his guy, Manny, the human doctor?
Um,
I'm saying it like race and class here, and I shouldn't, because that's not the type of game.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm sorry. This is kind of how I'm keeping you
No.
guys straight. I apologize.
Like over the course of the adventure, like I've seen him as ride or die now, but because at first I thought of him as someone I sort of got partnered with by circumstance, almost like if you're okay with the example, Jordan, that like I mean the when it started out, it was you were almost like the Peace Corps guy that got assigned to my village, and I was like the competent, and so I'm like I was so it started out with like a mix of like resentment, but also like fascination with your perceived competence. And now we see each other as equals at the end of this adventure, at least from my perspective towards you.
Yeah. Kind of like a little bit of mash going on there.
Yeah.
There you go. Lastly, we go. How does from Nixie's perspective, how is the group viewing Manny the doctor?
I think Nixie and Manny are probably from very different parts of the world. So from Nixie's perspective, Manny's kind of this alien entity that kind of represents everything that this world is, that Nixie's world isn't. So I think Nixie's probably not that close with Manny. He probably still sees him symbolically a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All
Like
right.
he's just one of the heroes of the warriors or whatever.
All right. So Manny gets to pick which of those perceptions, group perceptions, he likes the best. Sort of reliable and trustworthy one from me, of strong presence from Eric, more as an equal when before sort of viewed him with resentment from Tick's perspective, or as an alien entity that represents a part of the world that is just a totally different part of the world from the rest of the group.
I'm honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go with Finn here because I'm kind of the only one that seems to be this like I'm not some kind of fantasy creature or like high degree magic user or just outright, fey entity. I'm just a guy who knows enough magic to put people back together. So like I don't live that long compared to the rest of you probably. So like I'll be gone before you know it.
All right. Okay, we got that down. We'll move on to Paolo's character, Tick. I'm gonna put a group perception. Let's see. I would say that from Owen's perspective and perhaps from the group's, Tick represents the future of how members of his society are going to relate to members of the society that this is being set in, the kingdom that we're, or the realm that we're having this celebration, and that he represents the future for good or ill of what it's going to be. I think that's going to be my contribution. What's Morgan's contribution?
Honestly, I think Eric views Tick as unstoppable. Like, I think it's the whole thing of they're entirely independent that has Eric pretty much like, I don't think anything could bring this one down. And I'm actually just like, yeah, that about fits.
Awesome. Jordan, from Manny's perspective, how would the group be seeing Tick?
As far as Manny's concerned, everyone should be looking at Tick like he's almost twice the doctor with half the experience that Manny is. Like he's doing more with less than Manny's had his whole life. So he's kind of like leaps and bounds ahead of where Manny's ever going to get to. And like that's fine by Manny as long as something like this is in the world, everything's just going to be a-okay.
All right. Lastly, Finn, from Nixie's perspective, how is the group after all these adventures seeing Tick?
I think the whole, like, what you mentioned before, the token minority thing, I think like the stereotypes, I think when Nixie first met Tick, he probably really went ham on the stereotype, and now he's starting to realize that people are more than just one character trait, because I think that's particularly a thing that fairies and mythical creatures are known for. They're like one trait. So Nixie has probably been raised to believe that that's just how people are. And he's suddenly like, oh, that's not how the world works, I guess.
All right. So, Paolo, we've got in brief, we've got you represent the future is one. You're unstoppable is another. You're more accomplished with less resources from Manny's perspective, or that you've taught us to defy stereotypes. Which one sounds the best to you?
Yeah, I think that it fits with the rest of the character build as well. That taught taught the group to defy stereotypes, just because this is already me projecting the other characters, that because there wouldn't have been a whole lot of opportunity to interact with other tikbalangs, that you know the group impression was all you had to work with. And now that we've had time together, you've all started to see me as the individual, but the starting point had always been the stereotypes.
Cool. All right. Lastly, we come to Finn's character. So let's see. How does Owen the Beige? Let's see. How would I describe the group dynamic? I think that the group sees Nixie as somebody who doesn't realize the ability that they have to change the world. That's what I think. Just that, he's seen Nixie do wonderful things and like legendary things, and just is astounded by the fact that like Nixie doesn't see it. I think that's what I would go with. And what is Morgan's contribution to this?
I'm gonna like agree on that aspect of Nixie doesn't see what they're capable of, and it's the whole thing of like that self-denial thing of you literally just saved the world. Yeah, but it doesn't count. So Eric is pretty much like has a pretty deep respect. Also really respects the pig raising thing.
All right. Jordan, what's your contribution to the group perception of Nixie Knoll?
Nixie started off as something I feel like I'm kind of beating a drum here with this, but it started off as like a fairly simple thing. Like, ghosts are real, sure, but they're not a ghost, and they're capable of so much more than what they could possibly kind of hide behind. Like, they are so much more than what they are, and all they want to do is just, I want to watch this guy farm pigs. I'm like, that's fine. They're just there's so much more to Nixie that they have to find themselves.
Tick, what's up?
Yeah, Nixie at first came across as like a slacker and underachiever, because it's like you have so much potential, but you're choosing to downplay it. But now, like, after recognizing what the farm means to them as a homestead, it's like I at least admire that single-minded sense of purpose.
All right. So, Finn, we've got a couple that were along the same lines, mine and Eric, sort of being similarly, they don't really know what Nixie doesn't really know what he's capable of. Manny sort of saying that the group perception would be that Nixie's really capable of more than the ambitions that he set out for himself. And the last one would be that, the group sees Nixie as being really sort of deceptively like single-minded in a sense of purpose to defend what's important to him, that you might not know on the surface. So Finn, what sounds best to you as a group perception?
Feels like I don't really have that much choice, but yeah, I really do like the whole conflict between they feel like I have this, I guess, potential that I don't see, but they also kind of want to respect that I just want to farm pigs.
There you go.
Live a simple life.
Sometimes someone needs to do it,
Listen, one of us needs to be the Samwise here, and I think it's Nixie.
All right. Well, I think we've got our characters and our group more or less created here. The way that this works is that there are several different types of scenes, and it progresses from the present, which is where we're anchored in the narrative, and we sort of narrate how that goes through. And then each player introduces a memory, or at least we try to have each player introduce at least one memory and possibly more as we have tokens to do it. Crucially, this is supposed to be done with a timer. I'm going to just be using my phone right here and my annoying alarm that wakes me up in the morning to time us 5 minutes each is all we get. Certain actions can be purchased using a number of tokens. So this is, a diceless system and everything, right? We just sort of introduce conflicts and resolve them and everything. And, anybody can kind of jump in accordance with the rules and everything. And certain things will stop the timer. I'm going to try to be very careful about making sure that I keep track of that. And then the timer starts up again. At the beginning of each turn that it comes up, you pay a token to keep the story moving forward. It's called paying a token to fate, and then you can also spend tokens to do things like hijacking a memory, where you kind of, you Rashomon that thing and like say, nope, it happened in a certain way. You can add context, which is putting new information into a scene that perhaps could change the meaning of it. You can introduce a problem, which is to throw some conflict in there, and then we all decide, like the player who's had the conflict introduced can choose how to resolve it, and if they succeed, it's them spending a token. If not, it's you spending the token. It changes who spends it. Reliving a moment is when you can say a scene happened differently than was remembered, and whichever is canon is up to individuals and everything. You're not countermanding what somebody says. You're Rashomoning it, kind of, is my read of the rules. You can try to incite somebody's flaw, and so this is like where we'll keep track of all of our things. Like you can say like, but Owen the Beige is going to be aloof on this, or Eric is going to clown around on that or something, and that can be a move that you make. We can gain tokens in certain ways, including playing the NPCs in a scene. If anybody like wants to do that and everything. And then the game basically ends, and we go to the ending when everyone has run out of tokens. And if you're in a particular scene and you don't want to use a token, you could say pass, and the next person can take charge of the narrative and stuff. But it all ends when either everybody's out of tokens and everybody's done and stuff. So I'm going to give each person 5 to start with and everything. And then there's one thing I want to just grab. I want to read up, and actually I want to try to have one thing explained to me because I wasn't quite clear on it. Gilbert, if you're online, if you can jump in real quick, I want to make sure that I understand hurt feelings the right way and everything, because I feel like that might come up. And I don't think that I remember where it was reading up on that. If you're in, okay. So some flaws will give hurt feelings, and yeah, sorry guys, I'm just taking a look at like what a thing is here. I think it might help if we each read our flaws out and stuff here, and that'll also give me a second to like look things up, but also maybe help you folks familiarize yourselves with it. Do we want to do that real quick before we get started, just as to sort of dive in? Morgan, do you want to start, if it's okay? Go on ahead and talk to us about your clown flaw there.
The clown flaw is something that what it says here is, you have never found it comfortable when things get serious. Call yourself a clown or a comedian. It really is a mask. When this flaw is incited for the remainder of the scene, if someone reveals something serious to you, you must make a joke or do something silly that breaks away from the seriousness of the moment.
Okay. Jordan, walk us through the temperamental flaw.
So temperamentals kind of stuck out to me for what I want to do here. It's you can't help but fly off the handle. When a player incites this flaw and you choose to accept, your character goes into a fit of rage. You must choose to either act without thought, such as ignoring a plan, destroy a nearby object, or give any one player in the scene 2 hurt feelings.
Oh dear.
We assume you said something hurtful. So that's pretty good to kind of quote unquote cross the line without crossing the line.
I got it.
Is to just be like, and then he says something terrible.
Oh dear. Paolo, talk us through the dependent flaw.
Sure. Tick desires approval and attention from others, and this flaw only perpetuates behavior that cause people to push to push away from me. So when this flaw is incited and you choose to accept, your character becomes clingy. Choose one character. Your character cannot leave their side for the remainder of that scene. Okay.
Gotcha. All right. Lastly, Finn, walk us through the reserved flaw. It's good. We all pick different ones here.
When this flaw is incited and you accept, your character retreats into themselves. Your character does not speak for the remainder of the scene. You must back down from any confrontation. Any obstacle introduced against your character costs +1 more to overcome.
Ooh.
And I think this really kind of represents Nixie because he doesn't really like to be seen and he doesn't feel like he belongs in the world-saving business.
Yeah, the pain of being perceived. I think we all feel it, you know. Owen the Beige is aloof, and aloofness says that warm is not a way to describe Owen the Beige. When people show you love or kindness or warmth, you have a tendency to meet them with indifference. When a player incites this flaw, you meet any kindness with indifference or negativity, and you give 1 hurt feelings to all players. That's splash damage, folks. I picked the one with area of effect. Okay, so I think that at this point we move on and we get started in the present scene, I believe. So at this point, I guess I'm facilitator, so I'll facilitate. We're going to build this present scene together. So first off, I'm going to give each of you guys in your token thing 5 to start with. And I believe, are we spending, I'm so sorry, guys. Are we spending tokens in the present scene to move the turn along, or are we each taking a turn here? And yes, and also we remind, if you get hurt feelings, you can trade 2 of them in for another token to move the story forward and everything. But as far as the present scene goes, where we start, Gilbert, do we pay tokens to fate in the present scene, or is that going to be in the past scenes? You pay it before the present scene. Okay. I suppose we'll go in order. I'll be the guy to step out first, so I'm going to pay a token. And I'm going to start the timer. All right, 5 minutes on the clock, folks. I've only got 4 tokens left after paying 1. And we're going to say that it is the morning of the blessed day. And Owen the Beige is so happy. All of his life's ambitions supposedly have come to fruition. But it's a melancholy sort of happy, because after this, he's going to hop on a ship and set out to sea, because his mission is done, and we are in the planning phases of the wedding on the last day, and he is sitting in the staging room in a grand castle, the palace of Middle Zealand, and King Vigo is in the next room, and he's getting his wedding armor fitted on and everything, and the rest of you folks are all here, and the company of the MacGuffin is now dressed in wedding finery and everything, and Owen is kind of bossing the job with everybody and going over with each of you, like, okay, what's your role going to be? What's the role going to be now? You know, what are you going to be doing in the ceremony and everything? And Owen is actually the officiant, and he is super nervous about it. So while he's doing this, he's also trying to figure out, like, oh my God, what am I going to say? And what is going to be like the vows that I speak and everything like that. And he's like super nervous and everything, and his hands are shaking. You guys are seeing that. So that's my contribution to that. I'm gonna say we move on to Morgan. Pay to fate. Tell us what's happening here now.
I just know that Eric is almost certainly picking at the suit or whatever attire that he's wearing. Like, so you mean I can't go mushroom hunting in this? Pretty upset about that, but overall, like, so this is like last time. I can't really do none of that.
Okay, pay a token. We pay a token. We play the present, and we introduce a memory, and then we play the past. Okay, so I suppose I'm supposed to introduce a memory, and we're supposed to play the past now, and everything. All right. So, no, Gilbert is telling me. I'm sorry, man. I was confused about the game flow here. Let me pull everything up here. My apologies to Gilbert, who wrote this much more clearly than I'm recalling it. 5 minutes present, 5 minutes past. Okay, so we're going to be going through the present here for 5 minutes. We're going to be going through the past for 5 minutes, come back to the present 5 minutes, go to the past 5 minutes as we're introducing it. Am I understanding that correctly, Gilbert? Better pause the clock. Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm supposed to have, I'm sorry about that. All right. So we're going to move on here. I'm just going to go ahead and add like a couple of minutes on here because we were messing around. There is a introduce the memory between present and past. That's not timed. Okay. All right. All right. So what I'm doing next is we're going around the table and everyone's playing the present first, right? That's my understanding. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we're playing the present now. Sorry, Morgan, your character is in a contribution here, kind of like shrugging, like, what's going on? You know.
In a sense.
And then after the past, we move to the next person. Okay. All right. So this is still focused on me, and we're doing 5 minutes. Is that right? Yes. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Let's all group scenes. Okay. Well, here as it's focus on Owen then and everything. So here's what I'm going to do. And then I'll introduce a memory at the end of this after we've all had a little bit of contribution to the scene and everything. So Owen's freaking out. Oh my God. Eric, you're kind of oblivious, you were saying?
Well, it's not that he's entirely oblivious. It's also more that he's so unfamiliar with big, fancy, formal scenes that he's uncertain of where to place himself. So he's like, okay, so I can't climb out the window. Got it.
Jordan, what's going on with Manny right now? Getting fitted for a tux.
Yeah, he's pretty accustomed to this, having done like formal nonsense before, and kind of. Now, was Morgan saying any of that out loud, or Eric? I guess I should say. Any of the climbing out the window stuff, or is that all just like in their head?
So I would say almost certainly so I can climb out the window in this, right? No? Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you cannot. As they're like measuring me, and then at that point, like kind of seeing Owen be kind of nervous about this. I'm like, I've seen you do some incredible things, but this throws you off.
It throws me off. This is not in my portfolio right here. This is not in my resume. So how's Tick responding to the situation?
I'm uncomfortable about getting fitted just because physically I'm so much bigger than everyone else, and so like I know that like they're using up more material, and they're not used to deal like this they're not used to designing for my anatomy, but at the same time, like I'm actually impressed with how well like the local crafts people have been able to make it look. I'm like, hey, this is pretty snazzy, and I wonder if there's. And I suggest out loud to the group. Do you think there's going to be enough time for someone to make a portrait of this before the actual something more casual of the group before the ceremony starts, because it is something I'd want to send back to the folks.
Now, Finn, what's Nixie up to? We've got a few seconds here before the 5-minute clock is up.
Probably a bit uncomfortable with the whole fitting process. He's negotiating with the tailors, being like, do I have to wear shoes? Can I wear a big pointy hat as big as I am? Do I have to attend the ceremony? Somebody said there'd be a big crowd there. Can I attend in spirit? That's funny because I'm a spirit. And he's just doing stuff like that.
All right. That concludes our 5 minutes of time here. The player whose turn it is me. So I'm going to jump off that last thing that Nixie says by saying, well, I remember the first time that you were deciding how you were going to be kitted out. Okay, so we introduce a memory. Everyone adds one detail, and then the past scene starts. So here's what we're going to do. I'm remembering how we dragged Nixie into the great quest of the Company of the MacGuffin. So I'm going to spend my remember token here, and then I'm going to say the detail that I remember is that it was really rainy. We busted into your farm and we tracked mud all over the front door. And that was like your first impression of us when that happened. That's my detail. Morgan, give us a detail.
Sorry about that. My Zoom was acting up for a second.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna say, I'm almost certain that the one that even suggested busting into Nixie's whole farm was almost certainly Eric. Like, hey, you know what? I'm pretty sure that they'll help us.
Okay. All right. We're busting in, tracking mud all over the place, and in the lead is this fear bulgy guy. Jordan, what's going on? What's happening in this scene? What's another detail?
So I want to introduce a problem.
Okay.
Where once we busted in and kind of wandered around, it's dark because of the rain and the clouds, and it may or may not have been at night. It was just kind of hard to see in a dark room. And one of us, it was me, knocks over a family portrait of the people living in the home.
All right. Okay. we're gonna count that as a detail, and you can spend to cause a complication or whatnot as it progresses and everything.
Mhm.
And it's supposed to be that we let a minute pass by on the clock before we do that. I remember that from the rules. Paolo, what else is going on as a detail?
Okay. I recall taking point and appealing to without having met Nixie, appealing to their sense of fate and saying that like destiny's brought us here, and because we're here, it means that we need your help. But as I'm saying this, also I'm trying I can see how flustered Nixie had been by the mess we were making. So I'm actually making a conscious effort to sort of clean up after ourselves, but as we and the mud we tracked into their
I think that's
homestead.
more a thing that we play out as the scene progresses and stuff.
Okay.
I think we're trying to give a setup detail before things
Okay.
happen. You could be doing that. You could definitely do that when it starts. But what's another
I see.
fact?
Okay.
Yeah, what's another fact of the scenario that we're adding here?
Got
I
it.
suppose.
Okay. That. Oh yeah, the Nixie was the the last person to be recruited, so meaning everyone else is already in the scene by default.
Mhm.
And that we were fleeing from let's specify the specific threat. I'm open to letting anyone else fill in the name or just give a description of the specific threat we were running from at that.
Okay, but
we were fleeing
we're
from at
running
that
from it.
moment.
We're fleeing from a threat, and that's why we're tracking in there. Okay,
Yeah.
and then lastly, I'll go with Finn. What's this detail about this scene? It could be something from Nixie's perspective or just a fact in general. What's a
Well,
detail of the scene?
I think Nixie remembers hearing all this grand, very terrifying adventure talk, but it barely goes into his brain because he's just so preoccupied with the fact that there's this big crowd of very, very tall, rough-looking men eyeing off his, 36-month vintage pig's cheese that he's been saving for a special occasion.
All right. Okay, with that, I'm starting the clock here on the scene in the past.
Okay.
All right. Eric, you bust in first and everything. What do you say? What's Nixie say back? Play it out, folks. We're just gonna kind of jump in and role play. Go for it. What's Eric say as he busts the door open?
Hey, y'all got any pig cheese?
Hello, who might you be, and what are you doing in my farm, might I ask?
Owen steps forward. My good fellow, we are called throughout this land. You must have heard of us. We are the company of the MacGuffin, for we seek the MacGuffin. And we have heard that a important burglar is in residence at this place and wanted to contract his services. Would you be this person, perhaps?
There's a burglar in my home.
Well, I thought that this was a burglar's home. That's what I thought. Is it not you? Have we heard
Oh.
wrong? He turns to Eric and says, Eric, you said that this guy was a burglar, I thought.
No, this is just a simple pig farm, I'm afraid. The proprietor is out right now, so as the resident house spirit, I'm here just looking after the pigs. You might want the place down the road, maybe, just a thought. The horse farm. I hear they make some very good horse cheese there.
Does anyone? So what Owen says is, so the burglar isn't home, but his house spirit is. And he looks around at the rest of you, as in, what are we going to do now? We're being chased by the MacGuffin ghosts.
We could we could always just steal the house spirit.
I don't know if we should do that, says Owen.
Can we?
No, that's a no. After everything, all right.
Just
I don't know. I see this as providence. If circumstances have conspired that the burglar isn't here, then that seems to be like the cosmos way of saying that this spirited young spirit is the one that's going to be joining our humble group. So what do you say, spirit? It looks like fate has if you believe in such a thing, has brought us here.
Well, I'm not sure as I have much of a choice right now, but say you do whisk me off on this wondrous quest of yours, would I have time to get my magical hat? It's just a bit of a safety thing. I like wearing it when I'm outside the house. It looks quite a bit like the one that chap's wearing, big pointy thing. It's got... You wouldn't happen to be Owen the Beige now, would you? Forgive my impropriety for asking. It's just he's quite a legend around these parts.
I may be. That's who I may be. Here's what I wanna suggest as part of the rules here and everything. Does anyone want to introduce a problem into this scene that may induce our house spirit to be compelled to join the quest? Does anyone have a suggestion for that? That's one way I might suggest using the system here. What's Jordan got? Looks like he's got something.
So we were being chased.
Okay.
There's a good chance whatever was chasing us can track us, because it's some sort of terrible beastie with teeth and all kinds of nastiness behind it. Maybe they're following us to the front door of this place and are trying to bust in. So we are now liable for property damage in front of the very house spirit.
All right. You want to spend your token and do that?
I sure do.
All right. And I'm just looking at what the procedure here says. I'm going to dock your token and say, so you declare, and then, so you're saying, and then we're getting tracked by a beast here. You introduce a wrinkle or obstacle that will get in the player or player's way. The player or any player in the group, if it's a group problem, may overcome the obstacle by paying one token of their own. The person paying the token describes how they succeed or overcome the obstacle. And by succeeding, the player introducing the problem keeps their token. The player or players, though, may choose to fail or may not have enough tokens. In this situation, they may borrow from other players if possible. Otherwise, they must take the failure. If they take the failure, the player introducing the problem pays their token. So that would be you in this case, Jordan. The players discuss what failure means and what happens as a result. And once they put forward the problem, they can't take it back. When introducing problems, the clock pauses as the players try to resolve their decision. So we're pausing the clock here. All right. We are being hunted. I'm sorry, Nixie isn't in the we yet. Nixie is not in the inclusive we yet. Nixie has had this problem fallen on his doorstep here. The company of the MacGuffin that has come so boldly and brashly busting into this place has brought this problem of a pursuing beastie here. How are we going to resolve it? I would say that I'm going to pose this as a Nixie problem here, because, it's up to you. You just tell us to leave, but how's this going to play out? Do you want to succeed and fail? And what does it look like?
So I'm imagining Nixie is probably quite concerned about his reputation as a respectable house spirit in this pig farming community in the middle of nowhere. So he's probably going to ask you guys to hide in his pantry so that he can talk down the vicious beasties and convince them that there's no adventures going on here right now, because he
Okay.
probably doesn't realize exactly what they are.
Okay. As facilitator, I am also going to suggest this. Can somebody NPC the beastie and decide what's the nature of them? What are they saying to Nixie that is both going to, like, how are they acting with Nixie, and how is this going to convince Nixie to join the group and everything? Would anyone like to step up and volunteer as a means of getting the token for playing the NPC in the scene? Anybody?
I'll go ahead and I'll take that because we're in this situation because of me.
All right. Jordan, so you know what? Here's what I think we'll leave you off of this one because you paid it to put it up.
Fair.
In this case. Yeah. And I'll let somebody else jump in here and see how they want to play the NPC off. Does Morgan or Paolo? Because it sounds like Nixie's going to be the one to sort of be the mouth here. Either of you guys want to play act our enemy here, our pursuing enemy here. I can do it if you guys don't want to do it. It's okay.
Yeah, someone else can do it. Like, so
I'll do it. It's okay.
Okay.
So here's what. All right. So clock stop. Sorry. Bleh. Clock is still stopped as we resolve this. All right, Nixie, you're trying to spend a token up here to try to talk this thing out. This thing comes busting in, and what is it? Oh my God. It's a large, you're a pig farm. So this thing is like Ganon from the cartoon series, like the Zelda cartoon series from the 80s. Huge, muscular, tusked, anthropomorphic pig creature comes busting in with, why not, a huge great axe on the shoulder, and it just comes ducking in and says, have any adventurers been coming by here? The Dark Lord is looking for some adventurers. Is there a burglar?
No.
Is there a burglar home at all? Heard they were coming to talk to him.
No adventures here. I'm just a respectable house spirit. I would never do anything to jeopardize my reputation in these parts, and that's quite a nice axe you've got there, Mr. Pig, sir.
He blinks. By the way, can giant pig creatures see house spirits? Are they visible normally, or do you just choose who they see? That's a question I just wonder, you know?
That's a very good question. I think normally Nixie, when he doesn't want to be seen, he would wear his enormous hat that's so distractingly large that people don't see him beneath it. But he's not wearing his hat at the moment, so he's perfectly visible.
Yeah, okay.
Let me state that Eric is currently wearing the hat in the pantry.
Oh no. All right.
There's so much
So
crime in this house.
so Nixie, you talk to this guy, and so this big pig creature's like, okay, well, I guess that's all right. If you see them, here's the Dark Lord's business card. Just let us know, and we are gonna go shake down the rest of the pig farms in this area here and everything. And he starts grumbling to himself, like, there's not gonna be any of these pig farms once the Dark Lord is done with this. I can get promoted and move on to something else. This is bullshit. I don't want to do this and everything. And he just kind of stomps around, like sniffs the air to see if he can hear the rest of you guys, and walks out and everything. And Nixie pays a token to resolve that. And that means, Jordan, you get yours back. So you're going to be 5, and you're going to be, you're going to be 4. And I'm going to start the scene again. What happens next, guys? Oh no.
What was that?
Oh,
What
that
was that?
That was a servant of the Dark Lord, a terrible and horrible beast. He says, Owen, and starts spouting lore at you, just saying, like, from long ago, they came out of the pits of the ground. They were made of fire and pork and all that. And we're against them, you know?
Yeah, they're really bad to get in a card game debt with.
Absolutely. You know?
Is it true what that one said as he was leaving, that once they're done here, there won't be any pig farms left?
Seen it happen 3 times.
Oh, yeah. And we say that, and that actually is the timer on the scene just went off and everything. And so we fade out, and you guys put 2 and 2 together, you know. So that's how Nixie was introduced to our group. It falls to me then to bring us back to the present, and the next person sort of pays their fate token, which would be Morgan and everything. What else is happening in the present here? So Owen's just been, we just reminisced about how Nixie was dragged onto the call to adventure and everything. Eric, what's going on in the present? I'm setting the timer again.
He is no longer internally thinking he's no longer just internally thinking the words horse suit. Now he's just externally saying horse suit.
Oh no. Eric, why are you repeating the words horse suit? Can we help you with something, my friend?
He's just looking at Tick.
I don't know enough about Furbolg to know if he's in like having an aneurysm or what. Tick, how about you?
What did you have in mind, Eric?
Sorry, give me a second. I have the giggles. All I can think is he's literally probably reaching into his pocket to actually pull out like because he has like an internal pocket to his suit. He probably pulls out like a pressed flower, and he's like, you know, it's missing something, and actually like puts it like where the lapel is, flower.
There we go.
If there's an idea for like a memory thing, I have like a thing for that.
We're gonna do that after our timer runs out, you know. I just want to keep playing on here. We're giving each other suit advice, it seems, everything. Owen says, Tick, you look like a new Tick Balang with that flower on. I guess Owen's kind of trying to get the attention off the fact that he does not know what he's going to say at the officiation. So he's scribbling on script frantically, trying to finish up his speech.
I noticed the like at this point I can already tell when Owen's trying to bluff his way through something, and so I suggest you know, if you're not sure about what to say, then why don't you be upfront with what you've always wanted to tell Vigo. If there's anything that's been left unresolved from our quest together, why not use that to frame your speech, or the program.
So many things, that young whippersnapper. I don't know. I'm paralyzed by what to tell him after the scrapes that we've been in and out of and everything. I mean, he knows me too well to take my advice now. You know? I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Whatever you do, do not tell him his butt looks huge.
I think that we all know that his butt looks huge. We're all at the same campsite with him on the road to getting rid of the golden MacGuffin. I think that we're aware of the size of each other's posteriors at this point.
But it is the
My
ass of the
friends.
future, just the same, and we will give it the respect that it is due.
It's America's ass, as they say. You
A
know.
very kingly posterior.
Yes. What are the sculptors going to do with that? We're running less than a minute here. So Morgan, you said you had an idea. How are we segueing into this memory idea? What's Eric bringing up?
You guys remember the first time that we actually all spent the night in a camp together?
Oh, that was a wild and wet time. All right. We are just at about 5 seconds here and everything, folks. So Morgan, you're gonna you're gonna pay fate here, and we're gonna each come up with the detail of the scene coming up. So first night at a camp. Start with the first detail. Morgan, give it to us.
The campsite was in a clearing surrounded by, to the far side was a large flower field. That's actually where Eric got the flower for Tick's lapel.
Okay.
So it was a little memento, but he's trying to play it off sly, like no one's gonna notice.
All right. Owen's detail. Owen did not know where on the map they were, but was pretending that he did. Spinning the bottle at the fork of the road at that point, throwing the straw up at the fork of the road at that point, but not letting anybody know. What's Jordan know about this scene?
Manny kind of doesn't really remember a whole lot of details about the about where they were, just that he was making sure that if something did happen, they were ready. Just trying to maintain what little semblance of control they didn't have at that point, or did.
All right. What else do we know about this scene? Paolo, tell us.
Not counting this as a problem yet, unless someone wants to make it a problem, but the flowers in the nearby field at night give off a pollen, a thick pollen that fills the air.
What's Finn got?
You're on mute.
Oh, I think you're on mute.
Sorry. I think Nixie probably has about half a house on his back. And so it doesn't look like there's a house spirit with you. It looks like there's a pointy hat and an absolutely huge pile of stuff in a backpack that's dragging a pig behind it. And the pig is also overburdened.
Oh, no. We got a pig with us and everything. All right. We're starting the clock, folks. Okay. Setting the camp up. Owen's over here by the away from the flowers near the camp and everything, looking at the map, going, yeah, looking at the stars, looking at the road, keeping his composure. Yeah, got a long day tomorrow, everybody. Better make camp now.
I'm pretty sure that Eric is fawning over the pig. Did your pig got a name? I'm gonna name him Reginald. Is Reginald a good name?
No, his name's actually Piginald.
Pidgey, got it.
And it's almost his bedtime, so I'm going to read him a story. You're welcome to sit with me as I read.
Can I do shadow puppets?
Oh, yes, of course. You're welcome to do shadow puppets. And I pull out a book out of my backpack that's larger than I am. It's called Porkins and the Cheeky Pixies. And it's about an anthropomorphic pig who goes on a very cozy adventure.
I love it. Oh my god, I love it.
Nice. What else going on? I'm looking here. You guys keep playing it out. I'm seeing what I can do to throw a token around or something here.
And so Manny is just kind of struggling to get his tent up because he's not much of an outdoorsy type. This is probably maybe like on one hand, like the number of times he's ever tried to set up a tent. So like he's just kind of struggling. He's getting there, but it's definitely nowhere near as fast as anybody else.
So Eric has absolutely quote unquote abandoned his shadow puppets. He literally traced what the shadow puppets looked like in the ground so he would remember, and then ran over to go help. Hey, if anyone's gonna know how to set up a tent, it's gonna be the survivalist.
It is. Yeah, no, it absolutely is going to be.
All right. I'm going to incite a flaw here. I'm going to spend a token here. Eric, you are a clown. And you're going to clown your way through this tent and everything. So I'm going to see, let's see, we're going to incite your flaw. I'm going to offer you a token to either give into it. Let me stop here while I explain things. You can give into it. If they accept, you place a token on your flaw card. You can also incite your own. This will count toward completing your patch requirement. Once incited, the player must then meet the requirements of their flaw. So are you, let's see, are you going to accept?
I think so, just because it's so far really in character for him just to like it goes straight over his head that anything serious is happening.
All right. When this flaw is incited for the remainder of the scene, if someone reveals something, serious to you, you must make a joke or do something silly that breaks away from the seriousness of the moment. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that off my total here and everything. Go on ahead and place it on your flaw card and stuff, and we'll keep the clock going here. All right. You're, I guess that means, how are you clowning your way through the tent, setting the tent up?
I'm almost certain that this idiot does not know actually how to properly set up a tent. He's just kind of been bumbling through it, and it just ends up magically perfectly set up. So currently he is tangled up in the actual tarp of the tent and has both his feet sticking straight up, holding the ends up. Like, can you put the posts?
Yeah, sure. And Manny just kind of mentions it, like, hey, thanks for the help. I never had much opportunity to do this when I was a kid.
Anybody want to do anything like add context, hijack a memory, and go somewhere off to the side? Be thinking about how you can use your tokens, guys. Anything at all. And we can extend this scene if we want to. We're running a little low on time, but we can extend by spending a couple tokens. Anybody can do that.
I'm legit trying to think, and I'm just having a brain fart.
Yeah.
Eric, get out of there.
It's okay. I'm going to go on ahead and extend us by 5 minutes and everything. And Owen is going to try to cover up his incompetence here by talking about the mission ahead. We're seeking the golden MacGuffin, guys. It's the most important mission of our lives here. If we don't find it and destroy it, the Dark Lord is going to rule over everything. And I've made the mistake, I suppose, of we haven't introduced our our groom yet. King Vigo's with us. He's got to be here at the camp and everything, guys. Does somebody want to NPC him for a token here in this scene and give us an impression of the man whose wedding we're going to be at? Who wants to step into him?
I'll take that swing.
Go for it. All right, describe him to us. What kind of a man is he?
Is there's some kind of very, like, he's thin of frame but looks like he could hold up an entire tree by himself. Like he's just it's just muscle. He has a kind of slight scar on his chin where it kind of cuts through his stubble. He has deep blue eyes that always seem to give off this idea that he knows exactly what you're thinking.
All right. What's he saying to the folks around here?
He's just trying to get everyone's attention to kind of focus on you as you kind of remind us where we're going, as if maybe you're going to let slip some vital piece of information about what's coming ahead.
What's coming ahead is either the cliffs of doom or the forest of unusually large capybaras. Capybaras are normally large and onerous.
And King
These
Vigo
are
knows,
even bigger.
King Vigo knows you have zero idea which one it is for sure.
Yeah, but it'll depend on what happens tomorrow, which one we get to.
Right.
I definitely know which it's going to be if we wake up early tomorrow, which means you all should be prepared. Prepare yourselves. Get your weapons out.
The portents and omens of the morning shall make it clear to you, I'm sure.
Yeah, very, very, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, because only a total dork wouldn't know that if the gravitational fields around the forest, they get a little change. Only a total dork wouldn't know that.
You sure?
And then we cut back to Manny, and he's like, "Grab a what? Huh?" Like he's just like it's starting to come very clear he is not an outdoorsman for Manny. We cut back to Vigo, and he's just like, pats on backs, I say as I'm patting myself on the back, quite literally.
All right, what else is going on, folks?
Well, I say no world's going to be saved if we're not well rested, and so I pass around like a poultice that I've sort of like that I developed to give us a more solid rest, and I've made it from the flowers that had been foraged from the nearby fields.
All right.
So does it work the way it's supposed to? Does it have any weird side effects for anyone? Because I've sort of developed it with my own anatomy in mind. Not sure how it's going to work for everyone else's.
Does somebody want to use that to introduce? Actually, you know what? Paolo, you can introduce a problem with that if you want to. Is this going to mess some folks up if they choose to take it and make them more susceptible to an approaching problem? Just a suggestion as a possible introduce a problem to the scene. What do you think?
I think that Nixie he still doesn't trust this Tikbalang. So he's going to pretend to use this poultice, but he's going to hide it away. And his pig's going to get into it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Eric,
for
Do you want to use that, Finn, to introduce a problem to the group and force us how to solve it as a token?
I'd love to. I'm just not sure.
We can shop it up. We can shop it. All right. So the pig. Did you say pigeonoled? That's pretty good.
Gerald
Okay.
is really good.
Pigginald's really good. Pigginald actually takes the pulses instead. So you spent a token to introduce a problem, guys. How is this going? What is this cause? And I'm gonna say that pig physiology is different enough from both Tikbalang and human, or whatever we all are, that it actually is going to make Pigginald manic and draw unwanted attention. What is the nature of this unwanted attention, guys? And how are we going to resolve it if so?
I was gonna say, what about sleeping like pixies that were in the flowers, just trying to get their rest on. Now they're mad because now they got a pig running through all their flowers.
Oh no.
She's got pig zoomies.
And you can just see like a giant pointy hat sticking out from the top of the flowers, following the pig around.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. How do we want to have this encounter end in a failure for the group, or do we want to resolve it somehow? Who's going to resolve it?
I like the idea of it being a failure, and like it was just a really bad time for us and we just had no rest.
We like that idea, guys.
I also like the idea that it stirred up enough pollen from the flowers that Eric ended up sneezing, and Firbolgs have the ability to go invisible at times, and he just kind of I did it again.
All right. Borrow from others unless they take. I'm just seeing what the mechanics do if we're sort of overcoming this as a group or as players though choose to fail. All right. Guys, let's put this on our if we all agree that we don't want to resolve this and everything, or at least not overcome it and everything, what's going to happen as a result of failure here? Captured by pixies, perhaps?
I'm thinking, I don't know if you guys want to go with it, but maybe I get separated and then, I don't know, it could lead to some sort of goblin town like scene, but with pixies, or maybe you guys have to stage a rescue.
Yes. I'm real into this Goblin Town scenario we found ourselves in.
Does somebody want to pay to extend the scene and play that part out? All right, Morgan, you're going to pay. Now, as we say, at most, you can spend 2 tokens to do this, and it's a limit 2 times per scene. So we've extended this twice here. So that'll be it. I'm going to go on ahead and put us back at 5. All right. Pigginald goes nuts, wakes up the pixies, and I'm sorry, what has happened, Finn?
He's just run off, leaving a trail of destruction through the pixie field of flowers. And you guys have just probably seen him disappear into the night, followed by a hat chasing after him. And then, a bunch of angry voices start rising from this field of flowers.
Oh, no. This is bad. This is bad, shouts Owen. They've raised the pixies. What have you done? Well, we have to go after him now, don't we?
Yeah, I guess we do. Manny just kind of starts walking towards the field.
Oh, this is bad, says Owen. Okay, well, we can't lose the house spirit that we just got, so he starts going after, maybe trying to work some of his magic to try to figure out how to get you there.
I'm pretty sure if we lose him, we void warranty, so.
Oh, it's bad.
Oh, no.
What's our Tick Balling think of this situation?
I'm I'm self-conscious about wrecking the fields even further with my with my bulk. And do we have a sight line on Finn, or is Finn out of sight now?
I think I don't see him anywhere. I think that we need to go after him.
Okay.
Eric is already beelining straight through the already destroyed path, straight after where he last saw Nixie. So
We have a couple opportunities here. One, if we're running into a swarm of pixies after Finn's character, somebody can add context about them. That's a cost of a token. The other thing that somebody can do is step in to be the NPC of that. Actually, we already had one person do an NPC as King Vigo here and everything. So Jordan, I guess you're still kind of playing him, but does somebody want to spend a token and add some context to the pixies and what they do for this world? Morgan, you got anything?
I like the idea that pixies are actually a natural conduit for good magic, and they're actually like a natural thing that counteracts the Dark Lord. So the fact that we unknowingly just kind of ripped right through their sleeping grounds is kind of like, you really think that you can get away with this?
Okay. All right. Finn, what happens on the other end of that on the other end of that field?
I think I probably fall off a I don't know, off a cliff or into a pixie hole or something, and I end up in a strange land that I've never seen before, that's full of, you know, sharp rocks and crystals and a bunch of weird stuff. It's like, this is some fairy magic I've never encountered before. I'm not really sure where I am. I'm really just spitballing here. So if you guys want to contribute anything, but I think I'm probably about to walk into a trap or something completely terrifying. Something that the pixies are trying to keep trapped and away from the outside world, and I'm about to just waltz straight into it because I don't know where I am.
Oh man. All right. We're gonna go. Owen is gonna say, we're gonna go after. We gotta go after him. We gotta go after him. So at this point, I think we can try to complicate the scene more if you guys want. We can leave that up to whoever decides to add context to it next. We've got a little less than a minute left to run the timer on the scene and everything. It's really up to you guys. We can't extend it again under the rules here, but does somebody want to introduce a problem for Finn's character? Does somebody want to spend a token to, add any other context or anything,
Okay.
What do you got?
I'll spend a token to add context that I know that the pixies have been upset and I know how to appease them. It would be an offering to ensure that the damaged fields grow back as they should. But so regardless of how things are resolved with Finn, the offering will involve messing up our rations for the rest of the quest. So we basically don't have a working food load moving forward. We're always going to have to forage moving forward.
Yeah. Now, so the idea when you add context is you kind of add another, you add a scene in the possibly in the past or anything. Yeah. So how does Tick know this, and how is he bringing that knowledge to bear? Like, what happened in the past that leads him to have that knowledge and everything. You sort of
Oh, okay.
do a quick flashback and everything.
Oh, because how to okay. In like I've taken informal shamanism classes, and so I know um that people returning out of character after a disappearance is attributed to upsetting the pixies, and so I worry that might be what's happening with Finn, and especially because I'm aware that of where the pixies habitats are, and that's how I know that this needs to be remedied with an offering. And since I'd been designated from the start of the quest with managing the group's supplies, I've basically I've unilaterally made the decision that Finn's with us now. We're going to make this right, but at the cost of sabotaging the group's supplies as well.
30 seconds. Tick. Jump on down there. Say your piece. How you doing
Yeah.
it?
All right, I say that it looks like Finn is in trouble, and there will, like it or not, he's with the company now. It's going to look bad for the group if we don't make this up to the pixies. And we have just enough to appease them in our traveling supplies, but this is going to mean that the road ahead is going to be longer for us. But I have our trust in I trust in Vigo's as our guide, and in Owen as as our strategist to pull us through. And so without waiting for feedback, I start setting up the offering to the pixies. That in the good faith that it means that Finn will return unharmed tomorrow.
Vigo, you got a dry one-liner and then the clock's off. Just nodding silently.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's just kind of like,
All right. Stoic
yeah,
to
like,
the end.
I know what you're about to do. I know what you're about to do.
And scene. And scene. All right. We're back in the present now, and it is going to be up to Jordan to sort of take us through the present scene here and introduce the next memory. Jordan, pay fate, and then what's going on back here in the present with Manny and the rest of us as we're getting our suits made, getting ready for the ceremony.
So the suits are made. Horse suit. I feel like we left off with like the flower from that scene being put into Tick's lapel, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we so got that, and then I'm just like all of this over some fancy little trinket that does some wild stuff to folk like me, and I'm lucky enough to have been on the good end of that for once, instead of just seeing it all again, seeing good people come together to stop my bad folk from just ruining all that's out there.
That's how it goes, says Owen.
It's gonna be it's gonna be weird getting used to not having any of you around, I can tell you that.
Yeah, so Owen's a little aloof still, of course. Goes like, yeah, yeah. How's everybody else feeling?
I think that at this point, Nixie will probably be, he'll take the opportunity in the narrative structure to take out his copy of Hawkins and the Cheeky Pixies and just look at it like, this is a memory that means a lot to me. And, in the shot, you'll just see briefly that there's a bit of blood on it. And then it'll cut his off.
Okay. All right. Well, Manny, what else is, I suppose, what's the next bit of your duties as a groomsman or something here? We're getting our suits fitted and everything, but what else is happening in present? What else needs to happen on this wedding day? Apologize, I got weddings on the brain since I just got married.
I bring up the idea of like, hey, after we get this done, don't we have to go check out the ring? Or does he have, an army of butlers and chamberlains to go check on something like that?
I think that last I checked, King Vigo definitely left it up to his friends to take care of the most important details. So that must be the most important detail. Maybe a couple of you can go see if it's in safekeeping at this point.
I vote for not me because last time I swallowed one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go check on the ring. Where is it supposed to be kept? Can
I believe, says Owen, that the bride keeps it, right? Hangs onto it and then puts it on his finger, and he puts her ring on hers. I think traditionally that's how it is. Maybe we should go see the spouse, him, her, or them, and see how they're doing.
okay.
No idea who.
Right, yeah.
Who is it, folks?
Hmm.
And what are they like?
About
a minute and a half in this present scene.
Personally, my brain is saying very demure celestial descendant, like kind of feminine character, obviously, but like more in the they them area.
Yeah, they're leaning, but not much off the center.
Yes. And the Salinas with an S at the end. That's the name, right? That's our celestial bride. Yeah, exactly. So Owen's gonna go with Manny. The two of us are gonna go check it out here. Where is it? Where is it in the palace, Manny? Describe the room to us.
Oh, hold on, Ma. Getting a little iffy here. All right. So we walked for about 20 minutes down a corridor, through another corridor, through a third corridor, into
1, 2, 3 corridors.
what is essentially the royal armor as a royal jeweler, I guess. What am I coming?
You're still coming through just a bit, man.
All right, cool. Now has a royal jeweler, and it's just you open the door, wall of heat, and the rings are actually made of this big hunk of meteorite
Ha!
that Vigo picked up
Badass.
when he met Salinas.
All right, Manny. Remember something. We're going back to the past. What's the scene you're putting up?
The scene I'm putting up is the first time, or it's the first time Vigo got to meet, sense everything, and hasn't seen each other for like a couple years.
Hang on a sec, guys. Sorry, Jordan, you were breaking up quite a bit there. You're back in though. Tell us again what you meant.
So it's the first time Salinas and Vigo met for the first time in like years. And it's just like this big party that she wanted to pull off with all of these like other like fake creatures that have kind of gathered around her as a celestial, and like she's off doing like guerrilla warfare in the wilds while we're on this quest. Or sorry, they're off doing guerrilla warfare in the wilds because it's proper. But you know, like they're doing awful things to these evil entities, and the only thing they have to remember each other by was this big clump of meteor like star metal that he hung on to, and it's like the only thing he cares about. Like we lost all our food. The only thing he managed to keep was his boots, his sword, and this, as far as we can tell, this meaningless rock.
All right.
And it's
That'll
just a big party with eating, because we probably haven't eaten or slept properly in days.
All right. It's a party. Let's see. We'll add additional details. I'm going to add a detail. This is a point in time where the MacGuffin has not been disposed of yet. It's a brief respite during the journey where we have this opportunity for Vigo and Salinas to be together, and the rest of our party is also there with it. That's my detail. Morgan, what's the detail we're adding to the scene here?
So Eric is almost certainly trying to get a better vantage point to like see things. However, the only things to climb are almost certainly banners. So he has ripped at least 2 banners.
Yeah, now remember, we can set, you don't need to be necessarily inside your character on this one. You can set a detail sort of for the whole scene and everything. It could be from Eric's perspective, or it could be just how we want to set it up and everything, you know. But we're saying here for your detail, if that's what you want it to be, that like, you know, there's banners there and like Eric's looking for sort of the high ground and everything, if that's how you want to go with it. Paolo, what else is happening in this scene?
Wait, sorry. What is the location again, more or less?
Yeah, give us a specific location. We kind of have a situation. You can give us a
Yeah.
detail about the location.
Okay. Sure. That it's a particularly like cosmopolitan trading port within the kingdom.
Okay.
And it's one of the few areas where it's not unusual to see other tikbalangs. So like I feel more comfortable there than in other places.
Awesome. Finn, what else is going on in this scene?
I think in the sort of farm portion of the keep in the city, where like the stable where they keep the animals, they have these sort of really exotic magical deer that you know, when you milk them, their milk instantly turns into a dish of your choice. So it might be cheese, or it might be some dairy-based dessert.
Oh man, this is my kind of place.
It's cake. It's just cake on tap.
All right. With that, we're set. We have the set scene here. We're in a cosmopolitan port town and everything. Tikbalang creatures, mana from their udders, and we're partying with the presumptive bride and groom of our future story. I think we all know it. I'm hitting start on the timer. What's going on? Owen is at a huge table and not happy that he's surrounded by so many people. He almost prefers the wild at this point. What else is going on, folks? We've got Vigo, we've got Salinas. How are you guys playing this out? Dishes and stuff everywhere. Tikbalang in the background.
Eric has somehow managed to get wound up in one of the banners, even though it is still on the pole.
Oh no. Oh no. Finn, it looked like you had a Nixie idea there for a second.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say Nixie's definitely in the kitchen helping out there. You know, probably trying to cook up some cultural dishes and make sure that everything's not too messy, because his job back at home was basically cleaning up after people. You know, he can't make pig's cheese, obviously, because people in this city have never heard of pigs before, but he's making lots of dishes based around deer cheese.
Nice.
Oh, like all right, like I don't know if this is crossing boundaries and making things awkward, but like unnecessarily. But I'm not gonna count this as a problem for the group. But like I'm trying my best to enjoy, but I can't help but be conscious of that. A lot of the other tikbalangs around have very like like a lot of them are staff and are high, and so I stand out. I feel like I stand out as a tikbalang who's here partying while everyone else is is working to keep the party going. And like so I'm like, and I'm here with the group of roving adventurers that are partying. And so like I'm it's actually an effort to try and make it look like I'm having fun, whether anyone notices or not, because I'm super self-conscious of the fact that the other people that look like me are in staff roles.
Anyone want to introduce a problem based on that at all? Anybody? Spend a token, cause a problem for our tickballing friend here. I've got one left myself, so I can do it. I'm happy to do it.
Manny's gonna do it. He's gonna try to get a song going, but like he's specifically going out of his way to get Tick to like sing with him.
Okay.
Like kind of ignoring that like Tick is really uncomfortable with this idea of like, why am I having fun right now? And then he's like, let's have more fun. And he's like, I don't think I should.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna spend a token here to cause the problem of calling attention to our privileged tickballing here among the many others who are not. Okay, I'll pause the clock here for us for a second. Paulo, how is Tick going to respond to this? Is he going to succeed and come to a better understanding, or is he going to fail, put the token on his thing there? How's it going to play out?
uh okay. Okay, I'm at the all right. I'll go with this. I take up the challenge, and I ask the bards if they know, like the bard performers that have been hired for the night, if they know. Yeah, let's go with it. Like it's this particularly raucous war ballad that that tikbalangs are known for, and it it totally kind of reinforces stereotypes about it, but I know that it's going to get everyone else to sing along as well. And oh shoot. I'm trying to find a sensitive way to do this. Like,
is it that like it's feeding into that like, oh, they're barbaric and boorish?
It does, yeah, it does. But
you're claiming your identity. Man.
I'm claiming my identity, but it's also going to allow the wait. All right. Anyone can X card this if they want to, but it's the equivalent of giving like the rest of the group a pass to sing along with the song as well, and whether or not this is gonna and I don't have control over whether it's going to upset the other Tikbalang staff to do that. So it's like asserting, it's like I'm trying to give give a pass to the rest of the party to sing along and to say, yeah, you're in on the joke. That's how I'm trying to play it off, and hopefully that doesn't upset the other Tikbalangs.
I'm okay with it as a player if everybody else is. If nobody's X-carding it, we are going to play.
Okay.
This would be the equivalent of playing rap music in a place where
Like a country club.
at a country club. Yes.
Yeah, that's
But-
exactly what I'm doing.
But how do we think it resolves and everything?
Okay.
I'm gonna switch it. So Paolo, I switch your token to off of you from Jordan and everything. So
Okay.
you'll pay the token to resolve the thing. But if you say it's a success, I think that the vibe is good.
Mhm.
The vibe is good, and everybody starts singing along. You
Mhm.
know, Owen's even. Well, actually, no, not Owen. Owen's not a singer. He's just gonna be like, yeah, the beat. It's great. Glad the rest of you are all having fun. All right.
Eric is
we've got-
still.
Can
I was just gonna say Eric is still tangled up in the banner. Like, all right, now it's a party, swinging back and forth
all
upside down.
right. Yeah. Excellent.
I think
Oh,
Nick.
actually,
oh.
you know, I get so caught up in the performance that I start getting a little destructive. Like I'm bringing the Magnavox, the microphone, like climbing up the banner, holding it up so that Eric can sing along as well.
Nice.
Yeah, the kind
Well,
of thing that might end up getting put on Vigo's tab.
Oh no. Nixie, what's going on?
I
You were
was
about
just
to say something.
I'm madly running around trying to make sure nothing gets broken. And this happens.
So
Yeah.
I want to add context if I can, just because I have a buttload of tokens here.
Go for it.
At some point during the song, Manny realizes that Vigo and Salinas kind of disappeared somewhere, and he didn't really bother to go check.
Oh, it's happening.
Just like we met Vigo later, but the two of them just kind of wandered off somewhere.
Very good. All right. So maybe the rest of the players didn't witness it themselves, but something was afoot. If we're happy with what's transpired in the scene and everything, one of you guys can pay a token to end it here if you want to voluntarily.
I was gonna say if it would be my last token, but if I was gonna end the scene, I feel like with Eric and Tick's weight on the banner, it's like a perfect scene for it to just like the scene end that it just rips and then
Oh,
it just
no.
drop.
I'm comfortable with that. Down it goes. And on this night of reunions and on this night of identities and fellowship, down come the banner at the end with Morgan, with Eric the Fearbulg. All right. We cut forward to the present. It is gonna be Paolo's scene next, but I suppose from back in the present from Owen and Manny, checked on the ring is good and everything. And so Owen sort of claps him on the shoulder and says, yeah, we're good here. I don't think that there's anything we need to do to take care of this and everything. And we visit with Salinas, but then come on back to the group, I guess. What's going on next? We're sort of at this point, we'll be moved a bit further forward in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe we all have our suits done, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Probably, guys.
Yeah.
What happens next on a wedding day before the ceremony? Where are we going? Where are we going afterward? What's the stuff that that Tick is going to be doing at that point?
Wait, I just want to get the group consensus. How far ahead do you want to jump? Do you want to jump this? Do you want to take this up to right before the ceremony, or
We could, if you guys wanted to, and everything, because you know, we've got. I want to get through at least one turn for everybody. I know we're kind of running a little later maybe than we thought, but I want to
Yeah.
get at least one turn for everybody. So I would think it'd be you and Finn at this point. We could go within an hour of the ceremony if you guys are all comfortable jumping up that
yeah?
much. All right. The
I
day
was
is
gonna
worn on.
say,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, remembering the ceremony process for me, last wedding I went to was like a bigger one, and like there was like a photo shoot. There was like this whole photo shoot. So
All right.
there does leave like the room for that.
Definitely. We definitely the whatever the magical equivalent of photography is
Yeah.
in that world or whatever. We're all like doing poses and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So all right, we're within an hour of the wedding bells, guys. You know, at this point, Owen believes that he's got his speech set up. I guess he's going to be over probably like with an arm around Vigo's shoulder and everything. Like, it's okay, man. It's about to be. Stay calm. It's about to be all right. You know, what's everybody else up to?
I think we could say that we're at the portrait session for that's the ones that are specifically meant to be members of the company, and so how are they having us pose? How are they memorializing this this day? And knowing that this is the session that's specifically meant to honor us as members of the company.
All right, so we're all lined up, sort of holding poses with our wedding suits and our gear, perhaps, and everything. What's everybody doing?
I am incredibly torn between, is he being socially competent or is he backwards?
Manny definitely has been given some kind of court sword, it's just a piece of metal with a scabbard on it, really, with a fancy hilt, and it's just on his belt. It's really not for anything. He doesn't know why he has it. There was just some person in official looking attire handed it to him and just said, "Put this on." He's like, "Okay, sure." Knowing full well he's never wielded anything even remotely like a sword in his life. Just
Nixie is a bit timid at first, but eventually he starts, getting into the poses. And but little known fact, spirits don't actually show up in paintings. So in all the painting portraits that are just, like an invisible hand holding a paintbrush, painting all these portraits at once, there's just a hat on the floor next to everyone.
It's just, no matter how hard they try to like paint your likeness, it's just hat. They draw your head, your body, both your arms, and then it's just, okay, I look away to get more paint, and it
soaks into the canvas. It's just gone.
It's
just gone for some reason.
It just can't be done. I love it. It's
the
so
portrait
good.
artist is just infuriated by this
so
too.
Good.
All I can think of is the idea of Eric trying desperately to get Nixie to do, like, come on, it's not gonna look bad, and trying to get him to put on makeup so that he shows up in the picture.
and that, folks, that's 5 minutes on the present scene. Paulo, is your time for a past scene. What is Tig remembering in this scene? You're all gathered together here and you're getting your portrait done and everything. What recollections does this spark in Tig's memory?
Okay. I think that like the formation that the portrait painters had us do brought to mind like the battle formation we had during the final confrontation with the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
And so we're flashing back to that.
All right. Give us a detail. Give us a detail about that final conflict.
That by circumstance, I ended up with the MacGuffin during that scene.
Tig's got the football.
Yeah, and that Owen had told me previously that it wasn't that this isn't, or based on what Owen had told us, this isn't how the prophecies had said things were supposed to happen. So this is, we're now as a group, we're all in improv mode at that point.
Oh no. All right. I suppose we'll go to me. Okay. So all right. Tig's got the package, but it's not how things are supposed to go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. The prophecy was supposed to be that a great leader was supposed to be the one who casts it into the fire. You guys can make it something other than fire if you want to do a different detail. So Owen's always interpreted that as being Vigo that's supposed to do it, but Vigo is not in the formation. He's off doing something else. Okay, so he's fighting some parallel, like Luke Skywalker versus the Emperor fight, while the rest of us are like Rebel Fleet versus the Empire thing. That's kind of my detail there. What's Morgan adding to the scene here?
Due to the fact that I'm gonna add on to what you said, due to the fact that Vigo isn't anywhere in the scene, I feel like the attacking forces are in a frenzy, and it's actually got Eric just like level. This is the first time he's competent.
Okay, so we're dealing with rampaging enemy horde here. All right, Jordan, what's the detail of this scene?
A detail of this scene. Okay, so we are toe to toe with them. There's us. Tig's got the football. For once in Eric's span of Manny knowing him, he's on the level. Pigeonoled is probably there for some reason. I don't know why. Some part of me is terrified for this pig. I am probably hurling potions at people. There's horns blowing on mountaintops, and these like grotesque, like rusted, awful iron horns that just sound like death cries. Just to kind of throw off us like normal folk.
All right. We've got cacophony. We've got craziness going on. Finn, what's the detail on this scene?
I think, just when all hope seems lost, when we realize they massively outnumber us, out of the woods come like this army of like animals and creatures and fairies and stuff. There'll be pixies, there'll be pigs, there'll be magic deer potentially, and just like this.
Let my armies be the rocks in the trees and the birds in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It was if you guys have ever read Lloyd Alexander, it was one of the most badass things of that, the Prydain Chronicles or whatever. This is this druid who just says like, yeah, all animals, you hate the Dark Lord now and kill them and stuff. I just recall that so much. All right. So that'll be how that scene ends. But that's going to be the cavalry coming at the end is going to be a detail of that scene. So we're going to work up to, and then when the timer runs, bam, nature cavalry is going to steamroll that. The big damn fleet's going to come in. All right, great. I'm going to start the clock. All right. We're toe to toe here with the enemy. Everyone's Tig's got the football and everything. Owen, it does the pre-battle speech at the start and everything. It says, men of the, I don't want to say West, men of the equator, now is the time that we raise our shields together and fight this Dark Lord. We've got the MacGuffin. And he's bullshitting. He says, and the prophecy is on our side, right? He says to Tig, go and everything, attack, charge, and everything. And he's on his steed with his magic and his sword and everything, spurring you guys on. Owen's just shouting and just like, I know we're hosed because Vigo's not here, but I'm gonna go out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Finn, you got the face for this right now, ready to go. What else is happening, guys? Tig, what are you doing with the football? You've got the MacGuffin, man.
Wait. Yeah, I'll let someone else have a go because I can't
That's
think
all
of anything
good. It's
on
all
the
good.
spot.
What else is happening in the scene?
I just want to say that I'm wielding a dagger that's bigger than I am. That's
Got
the
it.
only thing I want to add at the moment.
Got a prop here myself. I'll get.
All I have is a pencil.
That's good though. It's mightier than the sword. You know.
I don't
Knives
know,
out.
but
Anybody want to introduce a specific conflict here in this scene? Be a good time to do it. Spend token, add a complication on the battlefield, or for a character specifically. These little stories that play out amidst the war. Any ideas, guys?
I don't have tokens. I was just gonna say that Eric is absolutely protecting Tig and actually like full on pulling a Legolas, like has a perfect aim with the bow.
Nice. All right. I'm going to go ahead and spend my last one here since we're running late on time anyway.
Yeah.
I'll spend a conflict here. Eric posed to, well, no, I want to give it to somebody who has possible tokens to spend it on. Finn, I'm going to give it to you. You are in a position here where you can save Tig, but perhaps at the cost of something for yourself, something dear to you, someone dear to you. You know, maybe your future. And I'm going to say that the problem is that he and Eric are rushing through. Eric's defending him from somebody, but you can see that another attacker, maybe an attacker from the sky or something like that, is coming down here. Maybe a creature, and it just doesn't see it, and it's going to get him unless you act. If so, how are you going to act?
I'm gonna, ride in on my pig with my hat. I'm gonna be looking at this creature, and I'm gonna look up at the creature, and I'm gonna jump off my pig, and we're gonna surround this creature and force it to the ground, and it's probably gonna say something real scary. I don't know if anyone wants to role play the creature.
All right, someone who want to jump in and NPC the king of flying beasties here. I'm going to say bred in the shadows of the mountains, fed on man flesh, descended from an even bigger winged beast from the freaking Silmarillion, Anybody want to jump in and do that? And we can resolve this conflict here with Finn. Up to you guys. If not, we can move on,
While I'm eyeing off this creature, I'm like trying to calm Pigeonal down by like whispering to him his favorite scenes from Porkins. The one where Porkins heroically defeats the pixies. Like that's what's gonna happen to us.
Somebody add context. What is it about Nixie's response here? Weapon or an ability or something or a prophecy? Why does Nixie take out the winged creature? Oh, Jordan's got it.
I've got plenty of tokens. Nixie manages to kill it because somewhere deep in their line, Nixie is somehow related to a pixie, and just the mere concept of that being in their bloodline is enough to kill this thing. And it
Weak against pixies.
And it had no idea.
All right.
It saw a feeble house spirit, was like, that's gonna be easy to take care of. And it's like, oh no.
Nixie, how you taking this thing down? What's your play? What's the move that does it?
It's probably looking at me and just seeing like a pig in an empty hat. It's just like, no pig in a hat can defeat me. And I'm like, I am no hat. And I just stab it, and it like falls over, and I look at it in the eyes, and I don't know, I just like stab it in the throat with my blade of pixie magic.
Maximum brutality. All right. The flying creature of death is down. All right. The battle's still going, guys. It's turning. Tick, what are you doing? Where are you getting the MacGuffin to?
Okay. Do we have Vigo in sight at this point, or is Vigo completely preoccupied with his personal side quest?
One of you can spend a token to hijack the scene, hijack the memory here. Let's see, you can declare your intent. Clock pauses. Explain what's happening in the simultaneous side scene, and we can set the clock in that different scene and everything, and decide what's going on, perhaps with Vigo, and if you guys want to do that, play out like what is his personal conflict there, and how does it end? I leave it to you guys if we want to do that. Otherwise, we got a few seconds left here for Tig to make, or somebody to make a heroic move, or somebody could extend the scene. Really up to you guys.
Okay. No. Here. No. I've been I've internalized what Owens told me about how things are supposed to go.
Mhm.
And so I'm trusting that Vigo is going to show up at a particular, from a direction. Certain dimensions. Notice that Eric has been aiming true this whole fight. I attached the MacGuffin to one of Eric's arrows and have him and point it in the direction where I trust that Vigo is going to show up in order to play out his supposed ordained role for this. And I'm just banking on your bullshittery, and basically to come through.
All right, you shooting it off?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What receptacle are we firing toward here, I suppose?
I've sort of jury rigged it to like a stick that can be.
Oh, I think we lost you for a second there, Paolo. Oh no. Have we got you there? Paolo has paused at the crucial final moment, guys.
Cliffhanger.
It is a cliffhanger.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, please come back. It was just getting good.
It really was.
Oh no. Paolo's
I
not coming
actually was
back,
on the edge
guys.
of my seat. I was like, what's happening?
We're gonna we'll retcon if he comes back here and everything. I'm gonna add, we've got like 20 seconds on the clock here, so I just add my last token to context here.
Okay.
Context is that Paolo's coming back.
Oh.
He's logging on again. Hey man, we got you.
Okay, I'm back. All right.
You good? Sorry about that. Hey, so what were you
Yeah.
saying? You said you were jury rigging something to fire it off at what?
Yeah, I'm just I'm I'm attaching this so cosmically powerful MacGuffin to a makeshift stick that Eric can fire off, and I instruct him to launch it in the direction where I'm counting on Vigo to show up. And this is a really fragile, rickety setup, and it entirely rests on Owen bullshitting correctly that this is how things are meant to play out.
All right. Well, here's what I am going to do. You
Okay.
do that. I'm going to spend my very last token of the night to add context. And the context is this. Tig, you fulfill the prophecy. Your
Okay.
character fulfills the prophecy based on the, fine print of like
Okay.
a leader among men or something.
Mhm.
And it is going to presage a future for you as an important figure in the world and a leader.
Okay.
And because of that, Vigo actually, he's riding up on his horse, having beaten the other thing, and he tries to make the touchdown pass with it so that he can then toss it
Okay.
into the fire. Slips through his fingers, but because you were the last person who touched it, it tumbles into the great crack of doom and it's destroyed. And you're the one who does it. And I timed it exactly for the timer to go off. How about that,
Okay.
folks? All right.
Okay.
End scene, unless anyone wants to extend that scene, but end scene and everything. And we come back to the present. And I'm going to say we are precisely 5 minutes away from walking down the aisle, and we're all waiting in the wings as the great cathedral of folks is all set there, and we're all ready to start the procession up the thing there. It is going to be Finn here, and we're somewhat over time here and everything, but we'll play out this last scene, I think. Sound good? And we'll give Finn a chance to set up a sort of a final remembrance scene and everything. But we're in the present now for 5 minutes, folks. We're back at the present, and Owen is I'm going to say that he's actually standing up at the front of the church sanctuary and everything, kind of like waving, like, okay guys, 5 minutes, what's everybody else doing? You're sort of whispering, I suppose, maybe, before you guys head up.
I think, I've probably still got my book, and I'm, thinking about, Pigeonald and how this was his favorite story. And, I say, to someone, would it be okay if I said a little something about our fallen comrades?
What's everybody think? Owen's sort of up at the front and everything, and sort of maybe not necessarily privy to all that,
Manny's okay with that.
I'm cool with it. I say you're right. This isn't just about us. This is about everyone that helped us along the way to reach this point. They deserve that honor.
I have never been so emotionally distraught over a pig.
Is Pigeonald with us now? That's the
Yeah.
real question. I mean, in our hearts is not necessarily how I was asking. I was asking, like, physically, is the pig
Yeah.
here in the...
He's in my heart.
I'm going to say he's not here physically for whatever reason.
He's missing the party. Anybody saying anything to Vigo is probably in the line here with the rest of you guys. What are you saying to him? He's sort of maybe leaning back and saying, like, thank you all so much for coming. I never thought we'd get to this day together. I thought we'd get to the crack of doom together, but I didn't think we'd get to this day together. He says.
Yeah, Nixie's probably, solemnly saying, it took a lot of sacrifice, but, this is a world that's worth fighting for.
Especially the pig farms. And the pigs who are on them, the ones we find there.
And the criminals who farm them.
Whatever did happen to that burglar anyway? Oh, that's a question. Now, does Nixie Finn, do you have a scene you want to present to us and everything? Do you have a final remembrance scene that we want to end on before we get to the ending, by the way?
I think it makes the most sense if we just were cut to directly after the battle, so we can really hammer in the kind of damage it's done. You know, it's an emotional sort of scene.
Give us a detail about that fallout. You start. What's the detail for the aftermath of the climactic, decisive battle that ended the conflict?
So there's bodies everywhere, obviously. You know, people who are injured and all that. And the people who are, you know, going through the fallout, they realize that the people who were fighting for the Dark Lord were either brainwashed or fighting under a false pretense, and they seem completely different now. Like even the abominations, most of them are just personable, regular abominations.
All right. So we're revealed the sad detail that these were beholden to the dark power of these servants and not willfully evil necessarily. Morgan, what's another detail about this scene?
Sorry, for a second, all I heard when I heard like abominations, all I could think of is the amalgamates from Undertale, and I was like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
But I'm genuinely trying to think of a detail just because Eric brain rot is real.
For the 10 minutes he's been extant.
What's the? I even could be something. What's the weather like? You know, what backdrop do we have here? Could be something as simple as that. Could make a difference.
I want to say that if it's weather, then it's that kind of cloudy where you can tell it's about to start raining, but there's like some kind of sun like beaming through it, but like it's like what you would call like sunny rain, but it's very kind of gloomy sky.
We're getting ready to have a sun shower.
You know, the funny thing is, it's like, that's the quick tangent. Like the term for that is like tikbalang wedding in Filipino mythology.
Are you kidding?
Like, it's because there was
This
when that
is
happened.
perfect,
It's because
man.
there's a tikbalang wedding happening.
Paolo, I gotta thank you for teaching me the term of this fantastic creature and that cultural term too. That is that I'm taking that from this tonight. That's awesome, man. A Tikbalan wedding is about to break out. Jordan, what's another detail on this scene?
I'm gonna kind of give this just from Manny's point of view. Is he's exhausted and he's tired, but he's immediately starting to do triage on people. Just this is my actual job and I'm gonna do it. Like, and he's just gonna sleep for a week after, but he's like, I really hope it rains because that's gonna help out because I need clean water. And it's weirdly hot for what feels like it's gonna rain, because you know, Crag of Doom, just billowing heat, but it's like, please I just need it to rain just right now. Like,
all right, we got triage happening and everything from among, including from among the army of nature that came riding to the rescue at the end there, which I forgot to put on the end of the last one. I'm sorry, because that was a badass detail. Paulo, what other detail have we got going into this scene?
When I notice Manny's going into triage mode, what I do is I start jury rigging receptacles to catch the rain as it moves around. And among the elemental armies that showed up, I guess some of them are recognizing my implicit authority because they saw my role in what had happened, and so I start calling on help from the sylphs and the maenads to try and like corral the water into the receptacle so that we have something to work with to start developing the healing salves.
All right.
And the,
That's all happening here. Nixie, take the lead on this sort of. What's happening here in this last scene? Triage happening, tick-balling wedding breaking out in the sun and the rain. And I love that so much. I'm going to say that for the rest of my life, Paolo. I want you to know. That is what I'm going to call that from now on. We have that here in Illinois all the time. Yeah, Nixie, what's going on?
I think Nixie's kind of corralling the other spirits and mythical creatures to tend to the animals, because the animals have probably had their adrenaline rush wear off and they're probably quite confused and scared as to what is going on and what just broke out. So we're kind of tending to the animals since that's more our area of expertise than the people are. Of course, internally, I'm screaming and really, really worried because in the chaos at the end of the battle, I lost my pig and now I don't know where he is.
Oh no. Owen, meanwhile, is sort of sitting on a rock, maybe bruised and everything, and just kind of shut off emotionally from folks. He's sort of in shock. He can't believe that this is over, because he thought it was supposed to be Vigo to do it. But I suppose he doesn't want to bother Tick because Tick's in the middle of saving people, but he's just there thinking like, oh, it was Tick all along. Amazing. I can't believe it. I guess I was really wrong about everything in the final analysis. So Owen's kind of off like that. What's everybody else doing?
I was gonna say, Firbolgs do have the ability to talk to plants and animals. So I was gonna say Eric is likely trying to listen for Pigeonoled in general, just trying to figure out, okay, where'd the buddy go?
Does anybody want to use any of their last, the tokens here or anything to introduce a conflicting thing here in this scene that's maybe more emotional, not necessarily something that's, a physical thing to overcome or anything like that, but, something that we have. What's Jordan got?
I'm going to spend a token.
Uh-huh.
And a raven is going to come to Nixie and Eric and is going to tell them of the great deeds of King Pigeonoled, who has taken the crown from the Urbor, who was felled in the final battle and was bequeathed the right to be the new king of boars, under the condition that he does not go back to the world of being a farm pig.
I can still go visit him on the throne, right?
No. He can't come back. He's a king now.
New world. New people.
He saved us.
All I have is the mental image of way down the line, Eric literally just trying to climb whatever wall is between him and Pigeonoled.
It's just, it's so Neil Gaiman when I think about it.
It's no less than he deserves. After all he's done.
Finn seems to accept this outcome here and the woe that it entails. All right. We're ticking down here toward the end here with that final resolution. Does anyone want to add anything else here in this scene? Or if this is that, we move on to another present scene. I personally am probably going to pass and everything and, put my 2 cents in to sort of say, let's bring on the ending. But anybody else have anything else that they want to do at this point? If not, we can move back on.
The only thing I can think of, it's not really adding to the scene. It's just like with a Neil Gaiman comment. No, that's Terry Pratchett. I was gonna say, is there an orangutan librarian here?
Nah, I'm gonna say probably not.
I also love reading books.
All right. The way the rules are set up here is that, we continue to do things here as long as people have tokens, or under the circumstance where all of us pass. We're getting pretty late here at night for some of us and everything. I'm going to pass my turn. If everybody else everybody having done a memory scene at this point is okay passing theirs, we can move on and do the ending. If you guys, we in agreement on that, we think?
I think we've definitely gone through pretty much every possible scenario and reached a logical conclusion.
All right. As we had discussed for the ending, the wedding's going to happen, and then all of us adventurers, we're going to go our separate ways afterward. We start the clock with 5 minutes, and as Owen, I'm just going to open, and we're going to play Here Comes the Bride, or whatever they play in Middle Zealand, and Vigo and Salinas are going to stand next to one another, and Owen is going to try his best to give the best officiation of his life, saying, I met these two when they were young, and I was there on that crazy night when we were all partying and singing Tig Ballin tunes, and when they wandered off by themselves and everything, I knew that was when it was true love and everything. And I've seen them come through triumphs and pains, and just feel amazingly lucky to be here today. And you may kiss the bride and everything. And how is everyone else reacting? What are your parts? And tell us your parts in the ceremony. Tell us what the ending looks like to each one of your characters. What's Eric doing here?
If there's supposed to be a ring bearer, where's the bear?
Oh, no, that's not really what that means. That's not really what that means, says Owen.
You sure? I figured there'd be a bear.
There was a bear somewhere, but not here, not in the ceremony necessarily,
Nixie is standing on his hat so he can try and see what's going on up front.
Yeah, that's true.
I love the hat.
Wait, are we all up on stage, or?
I suppose that we would be lined up on the groom's side, right?
Yeah.
If that's how things are done here. I suppose we're all on the groom's side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
so
in
this
the
is.
company of the MacGuffin with him.
I was gonna say, probably the next thing after the ceremony is us kind of getting our moment.
Yeah.
All right. Wedding bells. We guys are we process out of the church and everything, and bouquets are thrown. Let's check in on Tick. Tick, what's happening with you as this is all happening?
Wait, just come back to me. I'm trying to figure out how to articulate it.
No problem. No problem. No problem. What else is happening with Manny? What else is happening with Manny?
Manny at some point, kind of during the lead up, like if this may even end up costing me a token, but sure, is like over the course of the of our quest, kind of learned what Tick was going to be up to, and like we were probably promised some sort of like purse of money or whatever to kind of help out in this. He made an arrangement to have 90% of his purse go to Tick, so he can just keep 10% of his money, because Tick is actually going to do something important and he's just going back to school.
Maybe you tell him that here in this scene.
Okay.
No, he doesn't actually. He doesn't tell Tick.
Oh,
he just kind of No, that's
Mm.
Just
yeah.
thinking-
No,
you're-
it's
you're
just
thinking about it. It's happening in your head here as you're
yeah.
remembering
Suddenly,
that detail.
maybe Tick just gets a purse that's a little bit heavier than everyone else's, and
All right.
maybe Manny just kind of just see you later.
Okay. Actually, keying off of that, then I'm going to say what happened is that, like I'm frantically looking for I'm pleasantly surprised by the unexpectedly large purse, but I'm also like frantically looking for the Royal Master of Coin or whatever, or Shruff or whatever they're called, and saying, is this right? I'm not sure that this is. I don't want to be like hit with like a graft and corruption charge, and but when I realized that this is legit, I'm like already starting to work out like with how to send telegraphs saying that we have more operations budget than I expected, and maybe a quick trip home is necessary, but we're going to be able to take this back on the road sooner than expected. And I put out while where I am for where we'd gone for the ceremony, I put out a call saying that I'm looking for new staff for the mobile clinic.
All right. We've run to our time here and everything. I suppose if you each have the one sentence to say how you head off into the sunset and everything, just so we have some closure, let's go on through and say it. Morgan, where's Eric off to? What's his ending?
He's literally going to walk straight into the woods, but before he before he heads off, if anyone asks where he's going or if they're ever going to see him again, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll find you," and then turns and walks straight into the woods.
Jordan and Paolo, we kind of have somewhat of an ending for the two of you and everything, but Manny, where are you going? And then after that, Tick, what's next for you?
Manny just kind of packs up his stuff, make sure he has nice clean clothes because the semester's starting soon, and if he's got to leave, and he's probably like kind of like that same thing of like he's got to catch a ship, like the ship's leaving in the middle of the night, and of course it's raining because he's got to leave because that's what happens every time you go on vacation. He's like, one less goddamn time, and he manages to kind of wake everybody up, say goodbye before they leave, and kind of just scampers off onto this ship, and by the time the sun rises, the ship's gone behind the horizon.
What's up with Tick? You're a horse among men. Well, a man among horses, or maybe both, I suppose.
Yeah.
King even.
As I bid everyone goodbye with the beginnings of my newly assembled medical caravan, multi-species medical caravan. I actually take a moment to like a private moment to talk to King Vigo and tell him that that I didn't plan on stealing his thunder, or to take the big moment that was planned for him, but maybe that maybe we should just, maybe that's a sign from the universe that we should be forging our own destinies.
I'm gonna give Nixie a goodbye now. I can't see. It's
That's just
excellent. That's good.
Oh,
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. He's gonna I think steal one of the sacred fruits from the giant tree in the
Yes.
courtyard of
Exactly.
the of the Capitol building, and then it's gonna cut to like him in front of a cozy fire, surrounded by like piglets, children, and like baby fairies. And he's
Excellent.
telling them the legend of Reginald, no, Pigeonald the brave and wise leader who saved the world. And then it like zooms out and he's in a house that's like been overgrown by a tree. So it's like 20 meters off the ground.
Excellent. Excellent. I love it. Owen, for his part, I guess I have to do one for Owen too. Owen, for his part, is satisfied that though it didn't unfold the way that it was exactly supposed to, and the way that he told everybody it would, his mission's complete, and he thanks all of you. And being the kind of guy who's a little prickly himself, he ghosts you guys kind of and leaves before the rest of you do. And it's a port town, I suppose, boards a ship and off into the sunset. Guys, this was a lot of fun. I think we've got our ending now. And I want to thank all of you for being patient with me. I want to thank Gilbert for being on hand and for taking a chance on us and letting us play in this wonderful system that he wrote. And also, you know, hopefully we were new with it and everything, and so we were kind of getting our feet wet, and I hope that we were able to show off some of the interesting and the dynamic things in the system. Hope we didn't do too poor of a job of it, and I think we're ready to have our own ending and stop the recording now. And
I was
thank
gonna say